Hi there, Mr. Brian here from Gate Academy Africa. Today, I would just like to talk about web development, and I'm just going to be introducing those who are not familiar with the topic, what web development is all about, and if it's a good career option, how you can get into web development, and some of the opportunities that you can get as a web developer. And so, web development is a very, very important skill, a very, very beautiful skill to have that I'll like really recommend on anyone to have that skill because it really allows you to be able to take advantage of the internet. It really gives you a way in to really understand how the internet works. And so if you can really bring yourself to learning the skill and really becoming really good at it, you will really be able to make a very, very good use. You can use that to really build your life, to really be something. And so web development is simply a skill that has to do with building websites. It's just the ability to be able to build websites. And so these websites can either be built like through code or just simply using some drag and drop tools. So there, over time, the skill has really developed from like really writing, thousands of lines of codes, to like simple platforms like Wix, that you can just simply drag and drop. But even though you say drag and drop, it's also a skill that you need to have because you really need to understand how to customize those things. And so, whichever path that you chose, it's a good for you to get that skill. But I believe that people should always start like with something that they can really usher them into it. And so, we're really going to be looking at it deeply down in here, and I just want to pull up the whiteboard right now. So this is a it's a Gate Academy Africa tutorial. And we're talking about topic web development. Web development. And so, what is web development? Web development is a beautiful skill that I really recommend to anyone out there who is really looking to learning a skill that will really help them become have like opportunities of like being of service, maybe as a freelancer, or actually going ahead to build like their own business. And it's a skill that can really help you take advantage of the internet, to really help you understand how the internet works and how you can really leverage the power of the internet. There is no doubt that the internet has really it's really a big thing in our world today, and to really understand how to take advantage of that, I believe that we really need to learn the skill, just get an understanding of web development, what web development is. It always help to give us a good perspective when we are looking at interacting with these platforms. And so it will even help us get the skill to be able to build one platform for ourselves or something like that. And so you can really do well. So it's the ability to be able to create websites, to build websites and put them online. And so it's a very amazing skill, and over the years we've seen that it's really gone from like having big lines of code to like drag and drop software, drag and drop, drag and drop software. So we've seen web development really move from having to write thousands of lines of code to, like, drag and drop softwares. And so if you want to get into web development, you have to really understand which path to take and how to really find your way in, or what to learn. If you understand the path that you can take, you would be able to really find out the resources that will really help you to get to gain those experiences quicker, to help you to gain that experiences, really understand the lessons, and really know what you're doing. And so actually there are three parts that we can take. Three parts that we can take. Three parts to learn web development, of learning web development. So first, before we look at the three parts, I want to say that web development involves like two phases, what we call the front end. So two phases of web development. We have the front end, which is all what we are able to see, all the buttons, the images, and everything that is there, the menus, the links, everything that we're able to see in front is what is called the front end. And in this front end, there are different languages, or there are different things that you can learn to become like a front end web developer. And so there is front end and there is back end. We have the back end. The back end deals with like working with the database and the servers. And so the back end is responsible for everything, for storing and just keeping everything that we see on the front end. In the back end, we are able to have like different languages as well that you can study to become like a back end developer. And so when you're looking at web development, you can decide either you want to become like a front end developer or a back end developer. But over the years, we've really seen that companies are now hiring like one person that can do like the job for like the two jobs. And so the more like you're able to build that skill, like learn front end and back end to become like a full stack developer. So we have a front end developer, and we have a back end and developer. Okay, and then we have what we call the full stack developer. So this full stack developer is someone who is able to do front end work and back end work. He's able to build the website, really design it, and really code like add animations, really add images, just give it a beautiful look and all. And then the back end person is as well someone who can handle like the database and in the server side work. And so the back end guys have like a different language that they learn, and some of the languages in the back end are languages like PHP. We have PHP. We have MongoDB. We have Python. And so these are languages in the back end. These are some languages in the back end. There are a lot more. And in the front end, we have languages such as HTML/CSS. We have JavaScript. We have JavaScript. We also have like what is SAS. SAS is a library SAS is a library of CSS. Sorry, that one will come later. Let me not just so SAS is built from CSS. You can say that it's a more advanced way of writing CSS code. And so these are some of the front end languages that you also have to learn to become like a front end developer. And to become a front end developer, a back end developer, there are, like we said initially, there are three paths that you can take. And so these three paths that we look at them now, the three paths is the coding path. You have the coding path. You have the coding path. You have the no code path. No code path. Just put a line here. No code path, the coding path, and you have the hybrid path. So these three parts will really determine like where you want to really place yourself. But you can either become a full stack developer with any of the parts as well. You can really learn coding. Like the coding part first, we're going to look at it. In the coding part, you really have to write all the codes. Like you really have to write code all the time. Like anytime you're building a website, you're literally writing code such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and you're out there. It's a tedious process. And so the reason why we were writing code in the first place was like so we could build platforms that will enable us or to prevent us from writing thousands of lines of code. The coding part is something that I'll really recommend to everybody as well. You really have to understand how the code works. You really have to know the semantics, how everything is. You really have to know like the framework. It's more like the blueprint. So if you see the blueprint, you'll be able to really understand and carve your own way out of the web development thing. And so the coding part is necessary for everybody to take that part, and we've established that the languages here: HTML slash CSS, JavaScript, we have PHP, we have MongoDB, like that. And so these are the languages that you learn in the coding part to become a web developer, a full stack web developer. And in the no code part, you literally just go ahead and use platforms and softwares like WordPress, Wix, you use Joomla, you use things like there's another one called, I think, Drupal. Is it Drupal? Yeah, Drupal. There's Drupal, and I think there's one more that I know of, Magento. Yeah, Shopify as well. So we have WordPress. We have Wix. We have what is that? Drupal. We have Drupal. We have Joomla. Sorry, let me spell this rightly. Joomla. We have Joomla, and so these are some of the platforms that you really have to learn to be able to become like a web developer in that aspect. So in the no code part, it really involves like the customization of themes. So all these different platforms have what we call themes, and to be able to really customize them, to be able to really understand like the theme builders and build like different layouts, because most of the times you find clients who have like who have like their own design, and they need someone to be able to set that up with these platforms. And so to understand like the theme builders, to be really able to walk your way around, you'll be able to like really establish yourself as a very very good web developer. One of the things that is so beneficial in learning the no code part is that you're able to like really get into big communities, like something like WordPress alone is responsible for over 43% of the websites that are online. That is a very, very huge number of websites. If you can just guess the amount of sites online, there are billions and billions of sites online. And so if you can see that the WordPress has like 43% of those sites, you can see that there's a huge demand for like WordPress developers. And so this demand is always going to increase. This demand is always going to increase, and the more skills you have, no matter the path you take, whether you take the coding part, no code part, or the hybrid part. The hybrid part as well is putting code. You're putting code together, code, and you're using like this platform. So in the hybrid part, you can add HTML and CSS, and then you add a platform like WordPress, and then you add another platform like Drupal or even Joomla. So you can add this, and this will be like the hybrid part. You are able to write some code, and you're able to use these platforms. This is the best part to always take, because learning how to write the code and understanding the fundamentals is really, really going to help you. Like when you face problems on these platforms, on these frameworks, you will be able to really understand your knowledge about the code. You will really be able to use your knowledge about the code to really fix the problem, to really go ahead and to do like custom designs. You really be able to like understand how the template works. You can literally build your own templates when you understand how to write the code. And so I always advise people to like learn the code. Not all of it. You can start by learning HTML and CSS. That is the very, very basics. Everybody needs that. Every web developer should be able to write HTML and CSS code. If you cannot write HTML and CSS, then don't call yourself a web developer in some sense. You understand? Because those are like the founding blocks, and you should be able to write those code. But when it comes to like having jobs that require you to really go ahead and do the job, most of them want someone who will be able to like just come and do the job. They don't really care whether you use HTML or CSS or JavaScript. Most of them, there are very few that know what they are looking for, and those are like companies that are working on like a particular project. And so that is how you should, those are the three parts that you can take into learning web development. And so now we are going to look at career options. What are some of the career options that we can get as a web developer? The first thing is career options. Can you really make a life out of web development? Yes, you can make a life out of web development. You can really make a big life out of web development. Websites cost as little as $100, and they go up to like maybe 16 billion or 100 billion. Because we usually see Facebook. How did Facebook become popular? It's just a simple website that someone built with an idea, and it was able to really get that big, because it put a lot of people together, and it created that community. And so that's why it's that word. And so if you can do something like that, you'll be able to really make a living out of it. But you can also do it as a service, where you can be a freelancer. You can be a freelancer, and you're working like with businesses, you're working like with maybe hotels, you're working like with resorts, and all these doctors, hospitals, everything. You can always offer it as a service, where you can simply set a website for a hospital. You can build a website for maybe a pharmacy. You can build a website for maybe a doctor. You can build a website for just maybe anybody who really needs it, or any business. And so even companies, small companies that are growing up, it's always a requirement. As long as the web always exists, there's always going to be a need for web developers. There's going to be a need for web developers. It's really just is to understand what you can really learn out of it, and how you can build something with it, how you can use it for the betterment of yourself. I always advise anybody who is breaking in into a skill, always try, always try to learn the skill because you want to build something, not because you want to apply for a job, or just offer it as a service. Because there's a time when you would have like difficulties in your learning process, that you may give up on it if you are not looking at it to really build your own ideas, to really use that skill to really do something great. You would find yourself lacking. And so always push yourself to understand, to really know why you want to learn that skill and things like that. So you can be a freelancer, you can work for a company or something. You can work for a company, you can start your own business, you can start your own online business. Just say online business. You can start your online business, and then you can what can you do? You can simply just have fun with it. Have fun with it. Yeah, there's sometimes when I go online and I simply just find a website and just build the website, just because I can, and I just like building websites. It helps like build like the skill for me. And so these are some of the career options that you can get for from web development. I may not have written much, but there's still a lot out there. These are just things that are coming from my mind up top. And so yeah, we've seen the career options. And so what are some of the salary? I know that people always want to look at how much can you really earn from like becoming a web developer. And so if you go online, I just want us to go online for that one. Just open a new tab here, and we search for like salary for front end developer. Just check that. Let me see. Don't allow USD. So we see in the US, front end developer salaries, national average salary for front end developer is 76,160 US dollars. That is in the United States. And you see how high it is. There are places in the world that have not yet embraced the internet. And once these places keep start embracing the internet, start putting their businesses online, you will find out that the salary for the web developers in those places as well will always increase. So the cost is only going higher, is going higher, as more businesses are trying to climb online, trying to get online, get on the internet. And so the cost is always going up. And you can see this is $76,000. It's a good amount. It's a good amount of money that you can really do something with it. You can really use to set your life in order and put. So if it's a skill that you can learn, and you try to work towards that target, then you'll be able to achieve that, because it's really that easy to get to hit that target when you learn that skill, and you learn how to like put yourself out there to